Well, hi once again, everybody. Welcome into another edition of Pick Your Politics. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers, and we have a return visit from one of our favorite people who is in a very interesting race here in Las Vegas, and we'll tell you about that in just a second. Let me tell you a little bit about our special guest. Victoria Seaman is currently a member of the Las Vegas City Council, representing Ward 2 since 2019. And she also, of course, is a candidate for the mayor of Las Vegas. Prior, Victoria represented District 34 while serving as an assemblywoman from 2014 to 2016. Victoria was the 2016 Republican nominee for District 6 of the Nevada Senate, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But one of the reasons I like this woman so much, other than she's very imaginative, she's very creative, she speaks well, she's got great ideas, she is a huge animal lover, like I am, especially dogs, like I am. So we are more than happy to welcome Victoria Seaman back onto the show. Thank you for visiting us again.
Well, thank you for having me.
I know you are so busy.
So busy, but thank you for having me.
Anytime.
And thank you for being a dog lover like myself.
Yeah. There you go.
Special people love dogs.
Absolutely, they do.
Because we see how wonderful they are and the unconditional love that they give us. Yes.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Anyway, let me kick it off, Victoria, and ask you, most important job of being the mayor of Las Vegas. There's a lot of things that are involved in being the mayor of a phenomenal city like Las Vegas, unlike any other in the country that you're going to find. I think you know that. Most important job, you think?
Well, I think it's the most important job, and you need bold leadership. Public safety is a huge issue. We have 40 million tourists coming here every year. We are growing faster than, I think I just read today that we were the 30 fastest growing city in the United States.
Wow.
So we are growing, and we need someone, bold leadership, supports law enforcement, has good relationships across the board with our legislators to make sure that we're letting them know what needs to be done in the state legislature as well as the city.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they work hand in hand. I mean, let's face it. Two most important issues facing the city as you see it right now.
Well, I think everyone knows that crime is out of control across the U.S. in cities. That's a huge issue right now. And we have the homeless issue. Our city has its own particular issue of Badlands. But besides that, the two most important issues, as I said earlier, with the 40 million tourists coming in, is public safety. We are one of the funders. We sit on the board for our law enforcement.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've been on the city council for a while. They play a very important role. What do you think their primary role is, though, as far as the city council? I know you guys oversee a lot of stuff, but what would you narrow it down to if you could? Well,
narrowing down to make sure that our city is growing the way it should be. We're doing smart building. We're funding our police. It's a big job with about 700,000 constituents in the city limits to take care of the budget and make sure that we're making the community better. That's the number one issue. We have to make sure that we're growing smart and we're taking care of our constituents. And like I said, we've polled the city and just know that public safety is the biggest concern.
Right. And I know that you want this, and just about everybody wants this, to make sure that Nevada as a whole, particularly Southern Nevada, is a great place for you to raise your family, as well as the families of the employees that you might have.
That is very true. We want to make sure that we are creating good jobs across the board with economic diversity, opportunity, equal opportunity for everyone. It's so important. So that is a big job of the city as well. We have an economic development department that we work with folks trying to bring them here to Nevada to diversify the economy and make sure that there's jobs across the board for everyone, good paying jobs.
Yeah. Yeah, you want good paying jobs, absolutely. Bringing business here to Southern Nevada, I know, is very important to you. Most people that haven't been here, they go, it's all about gambling for Vegas. Well, that's not true. We have a lot of small businesses here. You're trying to attract larger businesses like what the plan development thing is for the studio in Summerlin,
Yes,
right?
I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I mean, I'm really happy to hear that they're coming to Southern Nevada because that will bring good paying jobs and a lot of jobs, and it does diversify the economy. And it's really important that we continue to look for businesses that want to come here. And like you said, big businesses that want to come here, but we also really want to promote our small businesses here. I've done that since I've been on the council. Make it easier. On day one as mayor, I'm going to streamline our regulatory system and work with staff to make sure that it's easy to do business in Las Vegas. We are one of the easiest jurisdictions in Southern Nevada, but it can be better. And I need to streamline it so that people who are building here, the people who are starting a new business, they have loans out, they've got to get their business moving. We should never stifle them. We should constantly be trying to promote them and help them to thrive.
Absolutely. Well said. So you want to cut the red tape. How do you go about doing that, though?
With the scissors. No, but
I knew you were going to say
in
that.
all seriousness, we need to cut the red tape, and there is a way to streamline it. We've done some of that while I've been in council, but we can do a whole lot more. And as I go out and I talk to businesses and I talk to developers, I learn more and more how we can streamline that. That's why I go out and I see businesses. That's why I spend a lot of time with developers to find out what is keeping us from making it easier. And as I said, on day one, I'm going to sit down with staff. I'm going to have our stakeholders there, and we're going to come up with a plan to make it much easier.
That's great. Yeah, I'm sure business people would really, really appreciate that. And I wonder just what kind of steaks they're going to be holding up, porterhouse, T-bone, or stakeholders. Okay, moving on. I know education is very important to you, and I know that it's a concern for the people here in Clark County with the school district. Everybody wants to see their kids get the best education possible. So how do you feel about the school district? What would you try to do to implement some good programs? And what do you feel about parental rights as far as the kids?
Well, let's start with our school district.
Okay.
It's way too big. And when I was in the state legislature, we did a bill to break it up. And we actually passed that bill, but when it went into interim committee, it turned out to be a completely different bill. We're like the fourth largest school district in the nation. It's way too big. It's way too big to be successful. It's not successful. When I was in the state legislature, I think we were 49th across the nation in education, and now I know we're 50th. And that's a big concern for me because people want to come here. They want to make sure, if you put your kid in private school, you'll have good education.
Sure.
We have some of the best schools in the nation. So let's say that first of all. But they're private schools.
Yeah.
It's the public school system that's failing. And so in legislature where I had the opportunity, we tried to break up the school district. We were successful, but it didn't happen. And then I also supported education savings accounts where people could choose where their children went. School choice is what you might call it. And that was turned over in the courts for not being funded properly. And so there are so many things that we can do. And that's why I push and have those relationships with legislators, because they have the power to do that. But what we did do at the city council with some of our ARPA money is we started a charter school. It was K through 2, and it's been thriving and so successful. We are now going K through 5, and I'm really excited about that. It's a charter school.
Yeah.
I'm proud that I supported that. And, the legislature tried to overturn us doing a school. And you just have to think that why can't we think outside the box if we're failing and we have a solution? So luckily it wasn't overturned, and we have a thriving charter school. And I would like to see more of those charter schools do thrive, and they're very successful. And until we can do something about public education, there are those alternatives.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Do you think that, of course, trying to attract the best teachers that we can here is very important? What does it take? Is it strictly financial? Is it getting the school district back where it should be? Is that the biggest turnoff to people you think that want to teach here but don't?
I don't think the problem is not having the best teachers. I think we've got wonderful teachers.
Yeah, we
I
do.
think it is absolutely, we're the largest, district, in one of the largest districts in the nation. And I do think that the Board of Education, having a federal Board of Education, I think it should be put down to the states to decide how the education is run and funded. There's so many things that can be done. And again, as a leader, I like having the relationships with my congressional delegates, with my state delegates,
Right.
so that we can come up with better solutions, because we can do better for our children.
Yeah, it's always. All right, Victoria Seaman is our special guest. She's a mayoral candidate, which is coming up pretty soon, folks, and having a very, very nice conversation with her, because she's a delight to talk to.
Thank you.
You know the governor. Governor Lombardo is very big on education, as you know.
Very much so.
Is that going to help you in your end game, you think?
I think the governor has a challenge ahead of him in making sure that he gets the right people in legislature to help him with the great things that he's doing.
Yeah.
Because without a legislature that wants to promote good education and work with him, it's not very easy. I think Governor Lombardo is a good governor. I think he's doing a great job, but he has a big challenge ahead of him.
Yeah.
And he's really trying to support those candidates who will help him to better our state.
Right. I agree. Plus, they want to keep a majority so that the stuff that he's trying to put out just doesn't automatically get kicked to the side or get vetoed. It's important.
Yes, that's true. And, he's got a tough job ahead of him in this election to make sure he gets the right people in.
Yeah, definitely. You've done some really good work on the city council, and a lot of good stuff, as other council people have, representing their wards. How will you, as mayor, and it's very, very important here in Las Vegas, to be the face of Las Vegas, for lack of a better term, for international purposes? We want everybody coming here.
Right. And I think it's important to have a mayor who welcomes everybody to come here. And again, just making sure that we continue to do what we're doing as far as public safety, continue to do what we're doing with the homeless issue, because we want people to want to come to the city and know that they're safe.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned before, and homelessness not only is a problem all across the country, and Southern Nevada is no exception. What would you do to help circumvent some of the homeless problems that we have here? And I know it's multifaceted. It's a deep subject, but
Well, I have to tell you, at the city, we took the forefront many years ago, a couple of years before I got on the city council. We created what's called the Corridor of Hope, and we were replicating the Haven for Hope in San Antonio. And so, because if you want to try to eradicate homelessness, you really have to address the source of the problem, which a lot of it is mental health and addiction.
Yeah.
And so to have those wraparound services gave us the ability to, when I got on council, we did what's called a no camping ban. So while the homeless have rights, they were sort of stepping on the rights of businesses and private property and making encampments. We did what's called a no camping ban. And that no camping ban is twofold, because they cannot camp and infringe on someone else's rights.
Right.
But at the same time, we have the ability to go out and offer them help, offer them a place, take them to the Corridor of Hope for whatever they need. So I really think that the city took the forefront on that. And now Governor Lombardo has decided to replicate a bigger Haven for Hope in San Antonio, and he is partnering with public-private partnership, $100 million from private, $100 million from the state, and they are building a Haven for Hope. So I have to say that as the city, we really kind of took the forefront, and we weren't just taking people in city limits. We took everyone to our Corridor of Hope, but it's just not big enough. And then we did the recuperative center, where we take people who have health issues. So the city has done a lot, and I will continue to do the things that we are already doing, but I will also advocate for this new center to offer those, and I know they will, mental health and addiction, biggest problems we have. I think we're on the right track, and I love that they're doing what we tried to do on a much smaller level.
Yeah, that's great. Where is this located, by the way, for people that may not know?
The Corridor of Hope?
Yeah.
It is it's smack dab in the middle of downtown, where the Catholic Charities is, where the Salvation Army is. Right downtown is our corridor. And when I got elected, when they did this, like I said, the corridor, a few years before I got elected, and it, touring it, I was appalled. I was like, this is the shelter. We've put a lot of money into it, and time and thought, and it is an amazing place. I just toured it a couple months ago, and we've done an amazing job. And we have a great place that I'm proud of as a city councilwoman, and will be proud of as a mayor. But again, the governor is now working on a bigger Corridor of Hope, for lack of not saying the name of the business, but it will really help with what we're doing here in Southern Nevada and offer those wraparound services, because again, if you do not address the source of the problem, you're never going to eradicate homelessness.
True. But Victoria, will you be able to get people to go there to take advantage?
Well, you can't force people to do it, but when you have a camping ban, it really does help the situation, because they are not allowed to do encampments in the city limits. So when we see them, we're telling them, you can't camp here, but we have an alternative place for you to go to get help. Now, do some of them not go? Absolutely. They'll move along, and they're drug addicted, or they have mental health issues. And so it's really hard. But if they don't come the first time, maybe they'll come the second or the fifth.
Right.
And I think this is important, because I think that we have to understand that some of these people truly need help.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Let's talk about the budget. Let's talk about the city budget if we can. I know you guys are responsible for a hell of a lot of money. And how do you make sure that you're getting the bang for the buck, so to speak?
Well, it's really funny that you mention that, because we're going through the budget right now, because we have a certain deadline. Unlike the federal government, we can't print money. We have to make sure we have a balanced budget. And, we're going through it now. And as you probably know, most of it goes to public safety. A big chunk of ours goes to public safety. And I have to say, I love our finance director. I think he does a fabulous job. My staff and I go through it with a fine tooth comb. We do. We absolutely do. We look to see where the money's going, where it's being spent. We question it. We see where we can offer suggestions
Right.
about what we think is needed.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important, to be able to look at that budget. And I would like to see, well, actually, I think I'd like to see us get the budget a little bit more ahead of time. But other than that, it's a good system where we can all have a chance to read the budget and give our input.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you get, if you're looking at something, and I know you probably do this, no, this is way too much money for this. Let's cut this a little bit and put it over here. Do you get rebuked by the other people on the council?
Well, we absolutely do all give our input about where we're spending money, and if we and sometimes we're not sure why we're spending this money in this place, and we question it.
Yeah.
And that's our job. That's what we're supposed to do. We ultimately vote on the budget, so we're responsible to the taxpayers.
Okay. All right, remember that. How is your relationship with another important organization, County Commission?
I have a good relationship with the county
And you
commissioners.
know everybody on there, obviously.
I do. Some
Yeah.
I have a better relationship than others,
Yeah.
but I always reach out to try to have a good relationship with my counterparts, because there are people that don't know if they're in the county, they're in the city,
yeah.
and there are people that reach out to me for help, so I'm able to introduce them to their county commissioner.
Okay.
And sometimes we overlap in different things that
Yeah.
are important, and so I keep that door open all the time and reach out to them. I see them at events. We have a very good relationship.
Speaking of events, you have one coming up
I do.
that I'm going to attend. First one, I went to something a couple of weeks ago that Victoria had, which was very cool. Met a lot of nice people, asked some very intelligent questions. But you have something coming up.
I
pretty soon.
do. I have a breakfast buzz Ward 2
Yeah.
Biz. Now, this is not a campaign event. This is a councilwoman event. This is something that I do in Ward 2 for my constituents in Ward 2. We don't talk about my campaign for mayor. We bring in Metro, we bring in our marshals, and we answer questions pertaining to the ward and the
Right.
constituents. And I have to tell you, I enjoy this event probably more than most, because the community is so engaged and they ask so many questions.
they are, yeah.
And we have breakfast, we break bread together. I've been doing this since I got elected. I love this event.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm looking forward
We do
to
it
it.
monthly.
You do it monthly, right?
Yeah, but always on a Saturday, always 9 to 10, but a different date every month.
So if you want to go and you are in Victoria's
Ward.
ward, call her office and you could RSVP.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Put out your website address too, and for people to take a look at, because you'll get to know more about this young lady, her opinions on things, what she wants to do, what she stands for. And like I always say every show, you've got to vet these people, whether you think you're going to vote for them or not. See what they're all about so you can help make a more intelligent decision. So,
Right. I always say, don't listen to what they say, look what they do. And my
Right.
website is victoriaseaman.com.
okay, not Victoria's Secret, Victoria Seaman. Okay, just want to clarify that.
Clarified.
So you're pretty confident, and I am too. Of course, to be elected mayor, you've got to get the majority of the votes, okay? You got to get, what, 51%?
Well, that's to win in the primary.
That's to win in the primary, but if not, you've got the top two people are going to be running against each other and stuff like that. So
Can I explain that to the folks out there?
Yes, absolutely.
So in a nonpartisan race, 50 plus 1% wins it outright
Right.
in June. And
Right.
June 11th is election day. Ballots will come out the first week of May.
Yep.
Please go out and vote early, and don't shred your mail ballot until you've voted. And I urge everyone to get out. Of course, vote for me. And if someone does not get 50% plus one, the top two, regardless of party or anything, go to the November ballot.
They go at it. Yeah, they go at it. So you're figuring you might, win it outright, but if not, you might be against somebody that you know pretty well. So it's going to be very, very interesting, to say that. Yeah, this whole race has been interesting, not only with the people who have thrown their hat in the ring to become mayor, and you go, really? But just the whole thing of that. Do you ever foresee the job of mayor being extended? What I mean by that, our mayor now, Carolyn Goodman, was termed out. You ever see that going forward, maybe?
Not being termed out?
Not being termed
Oh,
out?
no, I think term limits are really
Yeah,
important. I don't
okay.
think we should have career politicians. I think we need term limits everywhere, and it's unfortunate that we don't have them in the federal government.
Yeah, I agree.
Term limits are important. Nobody
Yeah,
should make
no,
a career out of this.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. All right, what you've got, you mentioned the breakfast. What else you got coming up that people can come see you and
So I
help
have a,
donate, and you need volunteers? You got to walk, you got to pass out flyers. I told you, being a politician is 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy. They need help, okay? So what do you got
so
coming up?
April 1st at my office, I have a coffee and pink box donuts, and I urge everyone to come and get to know me. We need volunteers for calling and walking the neighborhoods or doing meet and greets at your house.
Right.
We're happy to work with you to set up a meet and greet for your neighborhood, and we'll supply light refreshments, and I'll come by and answer everybody's questions. So those are some things coming up. We have a fundraiser coming up April 17th at the Bootlegger. So what I
nice.
advise people to do is go to my website,
Yeah.
victoriaseaman.com, and get on my email list, and supply us with your email, and we'll let you know when we're having all these wonderful events. Or you can go to my social media.
Yeah.
I'm all over social media.
All
Victoria D. Seaman, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and then Victoria Seaman at LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And now we are at TikTok.
Oh, you are at TikTok.
Yeah, Victoria
Okay.
Seaman. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, she is one of the busiest ladies you will ever meet. Woman does 4, 5, 6 events a day?
Yeah, most of the time.
It's incredible. I don't know. I don't know where you get the stamina, but the Bootlegger is very cool. Check it out. Show up if you want, and if you wanted to leave a donation or whatever, that's what it's all about. I mean, let's be honest. So is Dennis Bono going to sing you a little song?
I don't know, but our former Lieutenant Governor Lorraine Hunt Bono has now endorsed me, so
Great.
I'm really excited about that.
That's Dennis's wife. Yeah, she's
Yes.
a great lady.
Yes, she
They're both terrific people.
Terrific.
Yeah, they're both terrific. I will be there.
Thank you.
I will be there supporting you, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I know you're so busy.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
Oh, anytime.
Thank you.
And I told you, anything we could do to help,
Thank you.
do not hesitate. But get out, vet everybody, get out and vote. It's important when you get those ballots, then you can't complain about anything, And it's up to you. And, being the mayor of this city, because Las Vegas is so unique, takes a special person, takes a special talent. Remember that, because everybody knows Las Vegas all over the world. So, yeah, just remember that. Anyway, that will wrap it up. We're out of time for this edition of Pick Your Politics. For Victoria, I'm Dennis Silvers, and we're going to see you same place, same time next week. So until then, drive safe, everybody. We'll see you later. So long.